Alright, hello everyone. Plug in my phone. So, today we have a silver needle tasting. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So last couple days ago, I go to Bailan, and toward the end of my afternoon there, I'm walking, actually I kind of get to the edge of town. Granted, it's not a very big town, but I'm kind of away from the main shops, and I'm just kind of walking. And I come to a shop, and I pop in, and I start drinking with the owner. On my Instagram, this was the owner who was very well dressed, and I don't think the photo on my Instagram quite does her justice of like how fashionable she was. Because she had fashionable clothing, she had her makeup done well, she like had fragrance on. I was actually kind of like, oh, okay. Stark difference from many of the ladies who have served me tea, who usually go for the more traditional clothing route. She had her husband bring some samples from somewhere else, and just samples, just little bags. And she was like, look, today we're just gonna drink teas, we're gonna send you home with some samples, and then you taste them at home, and if you like it, you order from us. And I was just like, fucking fantastic, because that's my favorite way to taste. I much prefer tasting at home and then buying. So we did some tastings in the shop and then went home and tasted again. We did get a red tea. We're gonna end with that, but I got some silver needle samples. Yay! Her husband is from Panchi, and Panchi is an area that I've mentioned in passing a bunch of times, but I haven't really gone into. Panchi is a region that I've talked about in passing before. It is within the fooding area. It's considered to be the best region, the most highly regarded region. So yeah, her husband's from there, and so these silver needles are from there. Now see if I can do this. So this is a 2019. Generally, aged are still not my favorites. Has a bit of that aged aroma. Kind of a cocoa-iness to it, a cocoa powder to it. Not springing with life. And that's, when you're tasting teas, you really can see, I will say, when I'm tasting teas, you shouldn't have to try too hard to get the dry aroma. And obviously with aged, that wasn't much of a boil too. With aged teas, they're not going to be as aromatic, so you do have to look a little bit more and do some tricks to get some aroma. But with fresh teas, a great tea, that aroma is just going to spring forth. Not excited about this right off the bat. It just smells very normal. Izzy's here. Izzy might start climbing on me soon. No. It's just nothing. It's just nothing there. A little bit dry, a little bit. It's really not a good tea. Silver needles, we want light, bright, complex. A little bit of the cocoa-iness, but it's a little drying. So kind of like cocoa powder. If you just put cocoa powder in your mouth, you'd kind of get the flavors, but also kind of dry out the mouth. No. And that's it, and we're done with that. All right, that took about 30 seconds. I think I spent more time looking at it and preparing it than I did drinking it. That's the thing with good tea. Good tea, you don't really need to figure out why it's good. You don't really need to find the goodness. Once you have a good tea, you can explore deeper and really get in there. But the initial goodness should just pop out, just like that aroma. Now, obviously, looking at a 2024. Much better. I mean, the colors, this is something I understand more. This is something, I get excited more, new, fresh teas, and so, see, man, it's better. Kind of a nice, kind of like a cookie sweetness to this one. I did ask, so this particular brewer, I mentioned in some of my old stories that sometimes that's what I want. That's Silver Needle. Yes, that's Silver Needle. Okay. As I try not to cover my face for the camera. Leaf. Now that's nice. That's pretty fucking nice. This has a very, very clean flavor, a very structured flavor. I do wish it was a little more flavorful, actually, a little more complex. That's quite nice. That's actually quite nice. There's kind of a nice little soft pea note. And it's interesting because I see the same pea note in the Zheolong teas, but in Zheolong teas, this pea note is much more, the center, the main, much more developed, not developed, but much more bold. It kind of takes over the flavor. This one, that pea note, that like peas note, cooked peas note, is a little softer, a little more, it's kind of really in the middle, and that's the one thing I'm enjoying about drinking this. It really has a nice structure, a lot of flavor on the tongue, refreshing on the sides. It's really cool when we're tasting teas to see where is their flavor. Is the flavor just kind of everywhere? Is it in the back? Is it on the tongue? Ooh, sorry, a little bit of a headache. That second steep actually, some like honeycomb notes. Really clean. We're all gonna do one steep at a time because I'm actually really fucking enjoying this. That was really refreshing. Really refreshing. Fuck, that's nice. Oily, and it just kind of leaves like, you take a sip and just the mouthfeel and the body and all of this, you just have to be like, damn, that feels good. Fuck, that's nice. Excuse my French, sorry, Mom. And I think it's nice. It's one of the better Silver Needles I've had in a while. Just texture and flavor wise. And I remember when she was brewing in the shop, she brewed in a way, and I asked her about it. She brewed in a way, she poured in the center, she poured at the edge, and so if the tea leaves are here, and this is the Gaiwan, she poured at the edge, so the water came up, and I pushed the tea leaves up, and the tea leaves were floating. And I've seen other people brew like this. I've seen some people brew like this, and some people submerge all the leaves. And I asked her about it. And so, and she said that she did this for it to have a longer flavor. But I do think obviously if you don't submerge all the leaves, you're not going to get all the flavor. So that the flavor will last longer, you get more steeps, but you're not getting as strong as the flavor on those first few steeps. And so I remember sitting in her shop, and we're sitting there drinking, and I'm picking up on things. And here's another reason why I like to brew at home. I'm picking up on these things, and I'm just like, there's something here, but I can't tell because you don't brew like I brew. You don't brew as straightforward as I brew. So, and one of the things I was really picking up in the shop was the oiliness, was the smoothness, the richness. And so I'm getting that here, but now I'm also getting some more flavors. That being said, I would like a little more flavor. I would like a little more. It's a good Silvanito. It's better than a lot of Silvanitos. But it is not. I'm not really excited over it yet. Really quite nice. And it's funny, it reminds me a lot of the old tree Silvanito that I have. I actually packed it away for aging. This was a Silvanito, probably my favorite Silvanito except for the vanilla. Besides the vanilla Silvanito, probably my favorite Silvanito from here in Geelong. And one of the things I really liked about it, how crisp and clean the flavors were. And this one, and it didn't have like a fuzziness. There wasn't kind of a fuzziness to the flavors. And this one has the same thing. Probably not to the same extent. The Old Tree Silvanito was more crisp and clean. But this one is pretty crisp and clean. And they're both, apparently this is wild. So she says. I mean, that's what she said in the shop, and that's what it says on the bags. But you can never be fucking sure. That was good, but notice, and this is something I talk about every time, I got a few steeps in, and I was like, okay, I get it. Like, all right, I understand. And I dumped it, right? When I get a tea that I really like, I don't dump it. Oh, I'm very, very hesitant to dump it. I'm always like, one more pour, one more, one more. Okay, I'll put it aside for later. So we're getting into the third tea. The last Silvanito was a very good, very good, kind of a good standard, a good baseline, actually, of a Silvanito. Like, yes, this is a decent Silvanito. I'm not really interested in anything below this. You know, this I'm into. If by chance the price is low, like I think for like $20 an ounce, that would be a great Silvanito. But anything above that, it had there was no flaws. There was very little to no flaws, but there was nothing that really made it stand out. That's not too bad. I kind of like this, actually. It's smooth. There's kind of honey, nutty notes to it. I think this is a 2021, and so we have a few years on it. So it's a little. It's still a little light and complex, but the little bit of aging has rounded out some of these notes a little bit more, made them a little more bold and clear. Might have also just been a better year. Touch of a honey note in there. I can get down on this. This is something I can get down on. My Jim John. This is the cup I'm using. and Dian Tou. One of my favorite cups, actually. I would love to sell. There it is. I would love to sell this type of cup, but expensive. This was expensive. This was very, very expensive. Not very expensive. This. If I were to put this on the website, I couldn't really go much below $100 US, and I don't know if this is a $100 cup. I don't know if it's that nice. I should go with the last tea because I'm putting in the tea. That flattened out a little bit. Now it kind of just tastes like macaroni. Yeah, that didn't really. That just tastes like macaroni now. Ooh. Alright, well, I think I like the 2024 for the subscription boxes. Yeah, okay. It's okay. It's not great. Really, the flavors fell off kind of quick. And it's still good. It's still not a bad tea, but didn't really have the consistency that I was looking for. But yeah, but I think my favorite was the 2024. I just like those fresh teas. I just like those fresh teas, and I think I think what I'm tasting here is those few years of age, that little bit of aging. And I think those flavors in white teas just don't really get me excited. In white teas, I do really look for fresh and bright. Yeah. Alright, so that was good. That was a whole lot of tea for my noggin. I'm going to message her about this. I do have the Bailan Hongcha, but that is I'm a little too drunk for that. Won't be able to really focus in on that. Crazy. Yeah, I'm teed out. I am teed out, to be honest. All right, well, thank you for joining me. Yeah, these days I'm really focusing a lot on getting to know fooding, getting to know the different teas, getting to know, just getting to know the flavor notes and finding good teas